welcome back to another episode of Diaries of a Six-Figure Coach podcast. I am so excited today because I'm here with a brilliant business and executive leadership coach and one of my fabulous strategic mastermind clients, Courtney Marchment. Honestly, if you're not following this woman already on her Instagram at Courtney Marchment _coaching, you absolutely should, because she is brilliant. She's been blowing my mind, and she is one of those incredible women who have big goals. And sometimes when clients come to me and they tell me that they want to scale from like 3K to 30K months, like yesterday, it scares me a bit, but something about Courtney told me that she's actually up to make it happen, and she has made it happen, and she keeps blowing my mind with the level of growth that she has. But it is her work ethic, her dedication, and she is such a powerhouse, and she's working with incredible corporate clients. I mean, this woman, honestly, she's doing so many different things, and I think it's so cool to see how you can have multiple different ways in which you build your business, but actually do it in a way that also allowed her to pull back a bit and take a vacation and get a little bit more tranquilo. And now she's going to help her clients do the same. And she's just got such a unique, cool business. So I'm really excited to dive into this with you today, Courtney. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. What an introduction.
You're like, this is me.
I'll take this. I'll soak this in. All right.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Courtney, like, tell me, like, I know you've been in your business for just a bit more than a year, but what has it been like for you to start your own coaching business and then this journey to right now? You know, I mean, you've excelled, but when we first met, you were in a bit of a different place.
Yes. This journey has been transformational. I started it really unsure of what form my business would take. I had been working in a corporate organization for 15 years, and my life was kind of paved for me, or so I thought. And when I took this complete redirection, right after I had my second son and launched my coaching business, I really wasn't sure what form it was going to take. And it started really with like one-to-one clients, some mom entrepreneurs. And what ended up happening was I started to integrate some of my knowledge and experience from my corporate job, which was facilitating and leading learning workshops for corporate organizations. And when that started to happen in the first 6 months, I was just asked by a mentor, like, hey, would you be willing to do this workshop? And I said, okay, like, great, that could be my business. Cool. And it was kind of like the universe putting me in these directions. And so the first 6 months felt lucky. I felt like, yay, things are happening. This is great. And then in January of this year was when things got really hard, because I had seen these early successes, but once the holidays hit, like December and January, the corporate organizations, if you work in them or have, they completely slow down or stop. And so the business and the momentum I had started had stopped. And then that is when I had some kind of self-sabotaging habits come in, some hyperachiever stuff, and I was really in my own head. And then in January is when I hired you. And then we did our budget sheet, didn't we? Like, was that a few weeks ago? And it was crazy because I'd sold nothing in like January. And then once I hired you, it was just like crazy, the growth. And you really helped me focus. I am a pure manifester. I have thousands of ideas and I want to action them all today. So you helped me focus on the things that I was good at and was going to have the most impact. And from that minute, everything changed. So I hyper-focused on being a leadership and executive coach. I hyper-focused on getting these large corporate accounts and designing these learning workshops and getting clients that were more aligned with me, coaches and consultants and facilitators that want to scale their own businesses. And that's kind of brought me where I am today, where this growth is crazy. Things are just coming to me now.
Which is like the place everybody wants to be.
Yeah. Totally.
Literally, literally. Yeah. But like, the thing is, I know that you put in a lot of work. I think that from I work with a lot of different clients, and everybody brings something to the table, and having people that have a million ideas in my world is not really a surprise to me, because as a manager, I have a million ideas. And it's so interesting that you said, what you said about, I have 1,000 ideas all the time and I want to action on all of them. And I think one of the things that I've sort of noticed through my journey too, and then obviously guiding clients like yourself, but also guiding myself through this process, was that it's almost like we come up with more things because we're so ingrained that like the more we do, the more it's gonna work. Like if I have 1,000 offers, then I have 1,000 things to sell to 1,000 ideal people.
Yes.
But we don't realize that, one, we're human and we only have so much capacity, and it's really difficult to talk about that many things at the same time, especially while we're building, and we really need to put ourselves in a position where we have income coming in every month.
Yes, absolutely. And you're so right. For me, it feels like it's a habit. It's a habit that I need to have all these ideas, and it's just the way I've always been. And it's almost to like default anything uncomfortable. So if something bad happens, I'm like, well, I have 13 other ideas. It's okay that one didn't work out. So it's like almost like I have plan B, C, D, E, and F to like help protect me, but it was actually sabotaging any of my growth or success because I wasn't concentrating my focus.
Oh, it's like so true. And you say that, and like, I know you and I have had these conversations, and I've been very honest about how that's really screwed me in my business, and how I saw growth, and for a while it was working, but then I couldn't keep up with that speed. I couldn't keep up with running that fast. It was almost like, it was so overwhelming. And it was this like realization that I'm actually slowing myself down while working harder. That was like hang on a second, like, what am I don't want I want it to work. I don't want it not to work. I don't want to work that much. I want to actually work and have it go somewhere. Yeah. But what I'm doing is working more, and it's working less, and it's a fucking shit show. And yes. I don't want a shit show. Yes. And so I know, same thing for me, like focusing came also down to really owning my expertise. And I feel like that has been something that I've seen you step into. And also at the same time, when we say, I am an expert at this, I no longer need a plan B, C, D, E, F, fucking Z. Yeah. I know this is going to work.
Yes.
The level of power and certainty, but also trust and confidence in yourself that's required to do that is so beyond most people's comfort level, because you're saying, no, this is it. That's what I'm here to do. And that is when the purpose and the mission that leads you in the soul's mission that we often talk about, now your soul's like, no, this is what we're going to do. Like your ego wants 10 backup plans.
Yes.
But you're just distracting yourself and slowing down your progress. And I know that's not easy to do. But you did it. And then you're like, holy shit, this is working.
Yes. It's so true. And I think that's such a beautiful way to frame it, like owning your expertise. Because I think I was hesitant to own my expertise, because my expertise are designing and learning training, coaching leaders for excellence. And those were things I had done in my previous organization. So there was a resistance I had, like, no, but that was my old life. That was my corporate life. I'm a new person now. And I had this like resistance to owning this thing that I was really fucking good at and I really liked. And so when it like the door opened and I started, I'm like, oh no, I actually love this. And it's so natural. Like the skills and abilities of that just flow out of me. Like you were saying, that it's like, I don't have to try at it. There's just like a momentum to it in itself. And it made me laugh when you said this, because I still remember in January and February when we were trying to get me to focus on, let's call it one niche, or, owning my expertise. It was painful. It was fucking painful. You have to remember this. We were going
I
back.
remember. I remember.
And it was like, I couldn't see the thing that was right in front of me. My own expertise, my own knowing, my own intuition. And I was trying to resist it. And it was like, when I got rid of that resistance and I stepped into that space, everything changed.
Yeah. And things opened up for you, like wildly open up for you. And you started to realize that all the things that are so natural for you is actually the framework that you're using that is helping you scale your business. You hit 6 figures already, which is freaking amazing. You've put more than 6 figures on the books for 2024, and the year isn't even over yet. You're like continuously to sign, like you continuing to sign these really cool corporate clients. Like you were just in Colorado again.
Yes.
You know, you can talk about that in a minute, but like I think the coolest thing for me was, or the coolest thing as my experience as someone who's been on this journey with you and seeing you go through the resistance and seeing you, like I could, like, it's like we had conversations and I was literally like, she's like a little child right now, like kicking and screaming because she's like damn, you're trying to get me to focus, but I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And I'm like, but I want to work with this person and I want to work with that person. And I was like, and I remember saying to you, like, Courtney, like, where is the fastest path to cash here? Like, you are like focusing on signing $1,000 coaching client when you could be signing, I think at that point in time, it was like a $40,000 corporate client. I was like, Courtney, like, what the fuck? Like, stop like focusing on shit that doesn't matter and like look at what's right there. Like, this is the course right now. And then I remember you like landed that client and you're like, boom, right? And then from there, it was like, oh, like there was like epiphany after epiphany. And then a few months later, we had a conversation again about, you know, setting up your business to have the side where you really serve your corporate clients and where you're delivering these workshops and where you're like really giving this gift that you have as a facilitator, as a leadership coach, as somebody who helps leaders tap into coaching to create these more, you know, powerful organizations and move their people into action, which is one of the hardest things to do. And as somebody who's led a team of 180 people, like, it is so vital, and organizations are craving for the type of support that you've created through what you do, not just with your workshops, but the ongoing coaching that you can deliver to organizations. Mm-hmm. And then we took that and we're like, okay, well, now that you've got that nailed, mm-hmm. and you've got your process, why don't we use that as the foundation for you to actually guide clients privately through that? Because you love supporting entrepreneurs, you love supporting coaches and facilitators and consultants into using learning and development tools for organizations and doing essentially what you're doing with one side of your business and helping them do the same. And then it was like, I think we did in an hour what we like spent like a month and a half trying to accomplish, like in like January, February, and you're like, yeah. And then we had like one session and we're like, boom, 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 boom. It was like everything just clicked. And obviously there was some refinement we did afterwards. And now you're like literally launching this incredible program. And that to me was like, that's when you know that you're on the right path. But now you literally have a business where you're doing the work that is really vital for these organizations that are out there right now. That's really fulfilling your soul's mission in terms of the guidance you want to do on that executive and leadership coaching piece. Mm-hmm. And you have that branch now where you're actually like, hey, I know this method works. I know this framework works. Like, I know I can help people like me land 5-figure corporate clients without freaking running after that $1,000 client. And now you're like, boom, right? Like, it goes so well together. And I think this brings us back to owning your expertise. When you own your expertise, you can be in a specific niche, and you can have 2, or even in your case, it's actually 3 distinct revenue streams of how you're building your business. And that's really, really cool. But tell me a little bit about like how your work and your experience now has translated into you birthing this incredible program where you help clients, private clients, coaches, consultants, and facilitators actually do what you just did and start really scaling their businesses working with corporate clients.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. So there was a gap between where I was and where my clients were. And that's my group program that I'm launching. And it's the Ignite group program. And it is for facilitators, consultants, and coaches, leadership and executive coaches who want to make a bigger impact and scale to six figures working with corporate organizational clients using a learning tool. And so we haven't talked about it today, but a really key piece for me to increase my corporate contracts from 3,000 to 30,000 was actually integrating a learning tool. And so I use something called Insights Discovery, and it's effectively a self-awareness tool that organizations can invest in, and that increase the value of my contracts and increase tremendously the impact I could have in an organization, because it's one of those tools that teams can look at in 1 3-hour session, and it's transformational for communication, for the ways of working, for team effectiveness. So I found huge success doing this on my own with corporate organizations. And as you said, it was like I started to build one side of my business, designing, learning, corporate clients, taking on these clients and ultimately building curriculum for them. Not just one session. I was now building whole curriculums over 2-year contracts and utilizing insights and integrating that to do so. And then what I was noticing was like, okay, more people said, how are you doing that? And my one-to-one clients are like, Courtney, how are you doing this? And I had so many questions and emails, and I love it. I love supporting entrepreneurs. And I just noticed this gap between my clients, my one-to-one clients that are coaches, facilitators, or consultants, or, new to this space of entrepreneurship. Some of my clients are still attached to corporate organizations and are just waiting to take that leap and really building themselves up. And so I said, I need to fill this gap. I need to support these fellow entrepreneurs go from where they are, making peanuts, burning out, and unclear on how to move forward, but loving what they do, to scaling to 6 figures with corporate organizational clients. And so that is my Ignite group program. And in it, I combine what I honestly wish I would have had when I first started my business. It is a dynamic combination of mindset coaching. So I just got told in a workshop that my gift is coaching. So my gift to the world is coaching, and the way that I can just take somebody from resistance to ease, from confusion to clarity. And so in my group program, I do mindset coaching in a one-to-one space. And I also give the strategy and structure to be able to scale the business to 6 figures with the Blaze method. Which is what I use to scale my business from 0 to 6 figures in my first 12 months. If I really look at it, I scaled from 0 to 6 figures in the second 6 months so quickly. And it's so funny because Teresa and I have had this conversation of like how quickly I've accelerated makes people feel so uncomfortable. And I love it because I've really unlocked this key, this hidden gem on how you can do the same. And that is intertwined into my Ignite group program. I'll be teaching you how to do that, as well as offering group coaching spaces and ongoing strategic mentorship.
I love this so much. And, if anyone's listening and you're resonating with what Courtney's saying, I would highly recommend reaching out to her on her Instagram. We'll make sure that we've got, the link in the show notes. But the thing here is like one cool thing about what you do. And as somebody who's, again, like I led a large organization, I scaled a business, I had a big team that I looked after, and it was always a creative challenge. And when I became a coach, I really started tapping into the coaching and brought that back to my senior executive team. And I did a lot of coaching to help them coach. And it really helped increase the performance, but specifically it helped with communication. And communication is probably the number one challenge that most organizations face. And the bigger the organization, the bigger the challenge, because the more people we have information going through, the more it is there. So, it is so brilliant to use a learning tool. And I know, like, I used a tool at the time, actually, which was a creative problem solving tool, which a lot of the times I actually pay attention to with my own clients where they're at. And I can still apply that knowledge that I had from that without even like having them go through something. But certainly when I was looking at doing actually executive coaching back then, my plan was to use that tool in the hotel industry, but then the pandemic happened, and so I just love that, like, I've seen you do this and I know the power of it, and also I've seen you apply this and I've seen the impact that you've made on organization, and I have a front row seat to the feedback that you're getting, to the conversations that you're having with your clients, right? Like, as your coach and as your mentor, like, I am like there with you, right? And it's so cool to see. But I think the big realization there is, and what I want everyone to start to understand listening to this, is that when you focus in and start to have a tool and start to have a unique process, and you can communicate that to corporate clients, and you can become a valuable asset to their organization, not only will they want to hire you for one workshop. So we're not talking about chasing $1,500 workshops, right? We're talking about actually getting hired by organizations to become an integral part to help them create and facilitate trainings and coaching that is ultimately instrumental and vital to their ability to communicate more effectively with their teams, which will drive team performance, which will drive revenue, which will drive better communication, which will make their engagement scores go higher and their workplaces happier places to work, which means they're lower staff turnaround, which costs a fortune to organization every year. So you're putting yourself in a situation as a coach, consultant, or facilitator by applying this method that you're using in the way you work, and by bringing in a learning tool where you become so integral that not only are you building relationships that start to have you get contracts that are multiple five figures, but you're actually setting yourself up to have these relationships be long-term. And even though you're an independent, outside person, you're becoming part of their team and part of their strategic plan to achieve their goals. And the second you're part of somebody's strategic plan to achieve the goals, guess what? They'll want to work with you again and again and again. And so this is what I love about, like, what you do, Courtney, and the way you do it, and the way I've been able to support you to guide that, is that not only did you come up and create methodologies that work for you, that work for your clients, but you're really doing it through a business model that is sustainable and that is focused on long-term over short-term. And that is huge, because your clients won't be chasing new clients all the time, because clients are staying.
Yeah.
And that is really key. And oftentimes with coaching, the idea is that we coach people to not need us anymore.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's not really working for business, right? But when you're working with an organization, there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be opportunities, just like in business, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's so cool. Anyways, I'm tooting your horn here, but you're brilliant. And like, I would hire you if I was working with corporate clients. I'd be like, let's hire Courtney. But also, because one thing that I want to mention here too is there's a huge part around building relationships. Prospecting, being able to put together professional proposals. And a lot of people have no clue how to do that.
Yes.
Those are all things you're actually teaching people. So I think that the thing is, doesn't just work for you. This can work for any client who is ready to do the work and ready to bring in the tool, and whether that's insights or something else, but to actually put themselves and their expertise in a package that is presentable, and then know how to communicate that value, right? Like, there's so many pieces to this, and you're doing that. And by doing that, you're also able to travel, work with these guys, do all these really cool things, but you're also able to be more focused on saying, hey, I'm going to have a couple of big contracts, and that is how I'm going to get to my goal. And I'm going to have this incredible group program that you're doing now, and the clients that you're teaching, you don't need to have that, right? Like, it's like you can do your corporate work if that's what you're passionate about, but ultimately you're giving them a foundation to be able to work with specific clients over the long term, so they don't just build a six-figure business. They have a business that gets to six figures and then is able to maintain that and keep growing in a way that doesn't require them to sign new clients every single month.
Exactly. And that's a big realization for me, is how exhausting is it to find new clients? It's such an energy drain. And if we can integrate how to build momentum with our current clients, and for me, in the Ignite Group program, we talk about building momentum with these corporate clients. And I love how you said that I am currently in their strategic plans, because I am. One of my recent clients down in California said, Courtney, you're family. And I had to soak that in, like, oh my gosh, it's like, we think of you when we think of our next offsite. We think of you when we think about a strategic initiative that we can't carry out on our own in the organization, and we need an external lens and third party to support us. We think of you when we think about someone that can open up a room. Like, I had this really beautiful experience with them where I did this facilitation. They were like, oh my gosh, they walked away with their next steps, their next strategic steps in the organization to improve their effectiveness in a place that they were really locked and really stuck. And it turns out that there was this differentiation between people who have been in the organization for a very long time and new innovative voices. And they weren't giving space for these new innovative voices to be loud and to be shared. And so bringing me in, I actually created this really open space for people to be honest, open up, and have this dialogue. And so this is a natural thing that I do, and I'm going to teach you how to do in my Ignite Group program. But what was so beautiful was that once it was complete, I walked out of the room, I got some water, and I kind of was peeking back in the door, and I overheard the executive leader say, gosh, wow, Courtney, that was so amazing. And then he asked a few questions, and there weren't any responses coming immediately back to him. And he said, gosh, how does Courtney do this? Like, how does she make everyone talk and open up? And I'm just like, this is the benefit. And this is why they think of me in their strategic plans, because they see the benefit after any time I work with them.
Which is so huge, right? Which is what you want and what you want for your brand. And, like, in some ways, you and I do very similar work. Just that I don't teach you how to use corporate clients. I do it in a different way. Like, I'll personalize that experience to scale. But ultimately, it comes down to put yourself in a position and get your business to a place where people think about you when they need what you offer, right? It's like, I know a lot of people tell me all the time, if I think of like, I need to get more strategic, I need more strategy, I need a plan, I think of Teresa. If I need to figure out how to get shit done, I think of Teresa. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, we want people to think about our brands when something comes up, right? And now for you, it's like, you're already the person that have organizations, really cool organizations. Think of Courtney when they're like thinking about, how are we going to continue to grow and get our leaders to communicate and to open up and to have the conversations that will move us forward so we can achieve those goals. And now you're going to put yourself in a position where you're also going to have people think of you when they are like, I'm a coach, I'm a facilitator, I'm doing this, but I'm still kind of making peanuts. So how can I do what Courtney's doing? Because somehow she's working with all these cool clients and I want to do the same and actually scale my business working with these corporate clients, because I love delivering and facilitating workshops and guiding teams and organizations. Like, you guys, like, it's a different ball game. Like, guiding organizations and guiding individuals, like, it's a different thing. Like, it is a different thing. Facilitation, speaking, but really getting people to open up in a team environment, it's a different ball game than teaching a masterclass. Like, I'm telling you, like, there is an art to that. And I think it's really cool that you're teaching now people who can really use that art so that they can impact more organizations, which ultimately helps you to fulfill your mission, which is impacting more people, and you can't do it on your own. So I think that's so beautiful. And the coolest thing is that now you can continue to grow and scale your business from here in a way that feels really sustainable for you, right? And like, that's a key piece, because you can only handle so much. And we put your numbers out there, and like 7 figures isn't unrealistic for you at all.
That was such a great conversation. And that was so true. Like when we sat down and looked at it and said, okay, how is this possible to continue this growth? And I was like, surely this is impossible, to scale to 7 figures. And then you and I sat down and you were like, boom, I did it in 5 minutes. And it was really and truly, it wasn't by having thousands of clients. And that's the most beautiful part about it. It's by having 10 corporate contracts a year, like so possible. But the thing is, each corporate contract is comprehensive. It's multiple workshops, multiple group coaching sessions, one-to-one. It's like integrating all of it, and it's year after year contracts. So less energy on your part and more impact. And that is the beautiful synergy of it that I'm finding, and what we came to clarity on. And that's what I think is just so beautiful.
Oh my God, I love this. I love this. Well, Courtney, if people want to find out more about you and get some of this like big badass powerhouse magic that you have, and to be blown away and empowered to start actually going after their big ass goals, how can they find you?
Get your big ass goals. You can find me Instagram at Courtney Marchment _coaching or CourtneyMarchment.com. Come and check it out. And I cannot wait to connect with you. If you have any questions at all or anything's come up for you, I love connecting with people and just having a chat. So don't hesitate to reach out.
I love this so much. And like, tell me, like, I mean, you and I could like chat for hours, but like, I'm on a bit of a time.
Yeah.
And we've chatted for like nearly 40 minutes already. Holy cow, like time flies when you're having fun. But like, if there would be one thing that you could give people on this journey from there, like if there was one thing that you want to say to some of the people that have listened to this that you feel could be really integral as they are on their path to building a sustainable 6 or multi-6-figure business, what would you say to them?
I would bring it back to own your expertise. You have everything inside of you that you need. You truly do. And when you get rid of that resistance and you get out of your own way and you let that truly like transmute through you, that is when it all happens. That is when it organically flows. That is when you start connecting to soul clients. So connect and own your expertise. It's already in there.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Connect and own your expertise. There's nothing left to be said. Check out Courtney. Thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. It is an absolute freaking blessing to work with you and to receive your voice notes and to receive the funny stories and to have this front row seat. And I'm so excited to see what you and I are going to continue to do together. And I'm just really grateful to have chosen me as your mentor. And I know that the people that are going to choose you as their mentor are going to benefit tremendously, not just from a perspective that's monetary in terms of how your business becomes more profitable and more successful, but also to just have such a guide and such a powerhouse as Courtney guiding you. I feel like the relationships when we have with our clients and our spaces are very intimate, they're very close. And when you find someone like Courtney, or Courtney finds someone like me, you don't want to let them go because they are now part of your strategic plan too, just like Courtney has become part of a strategic plan for these incredible clients. So Courtney, thank you a million times over. I love you so much. That's a wrap for this episode. Own your expertise, people, and I'll be back next week with more juice on how to scale your biz to 6 figures.